Welcome to Empowered Living with Brenda Pierce, the Empowered Nurse. Join us for triage of body, mind, and spirit with her inspired guests. Author, speaker, healer, TV show producer, and host, Brenda brings guests from around the world to share their story of breakdown to breakthrough and beyond. Here on the Dream Vision 7 Media Network to help you live a more empowered and inspired life. Now, sit back, relax, and let's get on with the show. Hi, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Empowered Living. I'm Brenda Pierce, and I'm here to inspire and empower you with great information from people that I have as guests, people from around the world, friends, neighbors, and the like, and a little sprinkling of my own as well, just to add some flavoring to the sauce. And I am running solo for the first 15 minutes. We are doing a 45-minute show today. The last half hour will be edited out and sent for processing to the Dream Vision 7 Media Network. So for the first little bit, you have me. And rarely do I take the time to speak out on my own, but I wanted to set this show up so that I could really spend time with the gals that are coming on, Deborah Drummond and Blanchard, they're the true women of network marketing who are getting together to create a book and educate people, and we'll talk more about that in a few minutes' time. But right now, what I want to do is just share a little bit about the fact that I have just recently retired, as many of you know. Those that listen to me locally on my Facebook and social media know that I recently retired from 38 years of nursing. It was a very long and varied, experiential career for sure. And the one thing about nursing is the flexibility that the career can present to you in terms of finding your right niche and finding your comfort zone, because I was the most unlikely person to ever become a nurse. I was the pass-out queen. If I had to have blood draws at the doctor's office when I started all this, I had to lay down or pass out. So they had to take special measures with me when I was a young gal. And even though I never really fully overcame blood draws, I did do blood draws during my career. I started IVs at various points in my time and whatever. And of course, as you become a mother, you have a lot of blood draws, and then life happens and you have a lot more blood draws, and you slowly over time start to accept the inconveniences that need to be done sometimes to really create homeostasis in your life through the medical system. And so even though I did pass out a few times during my career, I managed to find my niche eventually. I worked in a good portion of my career was in hospital, and I wore many hats and did many things and worked many departments, and some worked and some didn't, but the nice thing was there was lots of movement and flexibility during that time. I went on to become a college instructor as well and taught many people at many various levels of healthcare as well. And while maintaining either a full-time or part-time job on the side of that, I did work for a while with the government of Ontario, implementing a program that's still now in use in long-term care, the RIMDS system, and that is for data collection for evaluation by an organization called CIHI here in Canada, which actually accumulates stats and information on the healthcare system, and also governmental funding based on the needs of the residents in the long-term care homes. I then went on to work in many of the nursing homes in my area, some good, some bad, and some in between, and some experiences were great and others were not so stellar. The last home I worked in was probably the best home I had worked in, and I left because I just got tired. I got tired out, burnt out, tired out, and ready to move on to other realms of information and wellness and being in the informational field, having done radio and broadcasting and TV now for, the better part of 7 or 8 years, and writing as well. I learned to find my bliss on the side of working in the trenches And I'm glad I did, because it now allows me to know with comfort that I can move on out of nursing and not be tired and fall into stagnation, because I believe the rest of our life can be the best of our life, and that is my aim and goal. And I believe that pulsed electromagnetic field therapy is something that every home deserves and needs during these times because of the Wi-Fi info smog that we are living in now. It has polarity. It does cause health effects. And sometimes what people think as perceived as normal aging is really the effect of our environment versus the natural status that our bodies should be existing in. So grounding is really important. Being out in the grass these beautiful warm days and getting your feet luxuriating in the grass and on the sand of the beach, the silica in the sand on the beach is really grounding, really clearing. Going out in nature, spending time by water and under the trees and the leaves and listening to nature and the birds around us is so readily available for us right now during these warm months. And so you are connecting with the Earth's resonance, which is known as the Schumann resonance. And it's really important to know that when we are wearing rubberized-soled shoes, when we are walking on concrete and tar and living in cement-filled buildings, that we are isolated from the natural resonance of the Earth. And this really is unknowingly to us detrimental to our health and well-being. And there is a lot of science about this. You can check out Dr. Magda Havas, who is now a retired PhD from the University of Trent. She had her own department in environmental sciences and spent the last 30 years of her life or her career studying the effects. And one of the increasing trends through that time was the electromagnetic field changes. Cell phones and the various generations of them have been progressively increasing in their electromagnetic fields and what effects that those are having on our Earth. And very fascinating work. But one of them is that the truth is there that we really do have to more and more simulate the natural resonance of the Earth in our homes in order to give ourselves a chance to calm down. Otherwise, they're in a frenetic mess, not able to communicate properly, causing blood to clump in something called rouleau formation. And it is really important for us to look at how we can improve our circulation, because if our blood is clumping anyway naturally, and then we are adding to it, some of the side effects of the jabs causing blood to clump and clot, that can have a detrimental effect. But on the very simple aspect, it causes inflammation in our joints because they are not getting the oxygen, the nutrients, and the dissemination of waste out of the cells. The blood is not flowing to the periphery properly, and we're causing neuropathies and circulatory issues. But if you can lay on a mat for just 10 minutes minimum, twice a day, to get each time 6 to 8 hours of healthy cell resonance, that means that your blood is calm and separated and not stacked and clotted. Don't you think that would have some kind of beneficial effect to our neuroplasticity, our quality of life, our what we perceive as natural aging and chronic disease? That's part of it. Do you think that maybe life would look a little differently? Well, I can tell you a resounding yes, because that happened to me. And since I heard about Ali Ox, who is the president of Swiss Bionics Canada, I can tell you that it was the best time. I had heard her 3 or 4 times talk about cell resonance and Earth resonance, and how the story of the first man going into space, Yuri Gagarin, I believe his name was. He was a cosmonaut. He went into space, in the inner space, just through the atmosphere of the Earth for about an hour or 2. I can't remember how long. When he came back to Earth, he basically fell apart and suffered greatly for being the first man in space. And it was then that it was decided that they had to look at the natural environment that we are putting men in space, and now they have PEMF therapy in space, in the space stations, to help humanity exist for long periods of time. We need those electromagnetic fields. It's part of our natural biology. We are like a dry cell battery, and if we don't have enough water, we know what that's like. If you don't surround yourself with positivity, we know that negativity persists, and that was Dr. Emoto's work as well, infusing crystals of water from the dirty, polluted Yangtze River and surrounding it, freezing it, and surrounding it with beautiful, positive things. How the crystalline structure of that water changed in its frozen state. They were able to capture the beauty, the resonance, the sheer magnitude of the beauty that this polluted water could be. But when you surrounded it with negativity, how horribly sad it looked. And it's incredible. Still water. We are water. What are you surrounding yourself with? Frequency really does make a difference to your health, your well-being, your mental attitude, your positivity. You're able to withstand what's going on around us in these days and ages. It's important to really, really look at what are you doing. And all health starts with cell health. So if you want to improve your cell health, improve the frequency of the words, the environment around you, and it doesn't matter so much what's going on the outside of the world, what the news is saying. If you take care of yourself first, the positivity, the frequency, the magnitude, the bliss of life can be yours at any age and any stage. I really believe that. And so I've used PEMF therapy for 4 years, and I've helped a number of people also get these into their home. And if you want more information on PEMF therapy, please go to my Facebook group. So facebook.com/groups/PEMF consultant, all one word. And you will be able to look at monthly specials. And let me tell you that it may be a bit of a sticker shock to consider buying one of these systems for $4,000 or $5,000, but it's the best investment you'll ever make in your life. And you can help your family, your pets. Animals have no biases. They know honesty when they feel it and see it. And animals love PEMF therapy. There's even a PEMF system called the Fauna system by Swiss Bionics for horses and cattle and large animals, which can help to improve circulation, improve healing time. PEMF therapy is licensed by Health Canada and the US FDA as a Class 2 medical device. And so it has been recognized for the treatment of depression, anxiety, improved sleep, reduce pain, improve circulation, and has been known to re-heal non-unionized fractures, so clean breaks, in record time. Also used in sports medicine to improve performance and recovery time after the event. It is really amazing what PEMF therapy can do. And if you want more information, go to my website as well, tinyurl.com/PEMF consultant. I'm happy to share that information. Connect with me through any of the sources, and let me know if you want to get a free PDF book I've put together on PEMF therapy as a really great first introductory piece. It's important for us to know what is out there and that you can take charge of your health. You do not have to be a statistic in the system. You can improve your health outcomes and really improve the quality of your life. And my guests will be coming on very, very shortly. And I just want to say that they are putting together a book, 20 Powerful Women in Network Marketing Tell All. And I am part of that. And I'm happy to share that with you all, because these two powerhouses that are coming up are going to light up the airwaves with their wit and wisdom, humor and banter. Deborah Drummond and Carolyn Blanchard are two rockin' Canadian women who are going to bring their insights and their wisdom and really show that you in network marketing, more so now than ever before with technology and the ease and grace that we can all get online with. We can really make a difference. Turn the tides. If you've been struggling with the effects of lockdowns, shutdowns, closures, mergers, and all this sort of thing, just sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you want to have more quality in your life, you will want to get your hands on this book. It's just being put together right now. I know I have to write my chapter yet and submit it, but I will. And now that I'm retired, I have time. And although I say I'm retired from active nursing. I will always be a nurse. Always, always, always. I will always triage body, mind, and spirit. I just know that. But in many new and amazing ways. It doesn't always have to take procedures, and it doesn't always have to take pain and prescriptions to do that. And I see that the girls are coming on, and I'm just going to take a moment. I'm going to restart the introduction to the show, and we're going to start their segment, their half hour, fresh, as if it is a new episode. So hang in there, and let's make this happen.
Welcome to Empowered Living with Brenda Pierce, the Empowered Nurse. Join us for triage of body, mind, and spirit with her inspired guests, author, speaker, healer, TV show producer, and host. Brenda brings guests from around the world to share their story of breakdown to breakthrough and beyond. Here on the Dream Vision 7 Media Network to help you live a more empowered and inspired life. Now, sit back, relax, and let's get on with the show.
Hey, and welcome to Empowered Living with Brenda Pierce. This segment is going to be filled with the wit and wisdom of Deborah Drummond and Carolyn Blanchard. Lifepreneurship is what is developing around us, all around us. The world is changing in such magnificent and amazing ways. You know, sometimes when challenges happen, we just have to find new ways to reinvent ourselves. And these two ladies are definitely doing this. They are helping people all around the world to seek new ways of becoming independent, successful, and truly that network marketing, which used to be kind of had a bad taste, is actually the new go-to, and more people are embracing this every single day. These two women are putting together a beautiful, powerful book filled with the wisdom of 20 powerful women in network marketing tell all. So right now I want to bring these two beautiful women to the airwaves. Hi, Caroline, and hello, Deborah.
Hello.
Hello, Brenda.
Hi.
Thank you for
Wonderful.
having us.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a little bit difficult because we're all triangulating from 3 different points in Canada here, and we are going to stumble over each other a little bit, but that's okay because it's all for a mission, right, girls?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wonderful. So lifepreneurship is what you guys are really, really proponents of. And I would love to hear, Deborah, from yourself a little bit about what lifepreneurship is, a little Reader's Digest version of your story, if you don't mind, just to start us off.
Absolutely. I think the reason why we both fell in love with the word lifepreneurship is because if you are an entrepreneur or want to be an entrepreneur, you know that it doesn't work within the confines of that Monday to Friday 9 to 5 ideal. And so what we find is that most people that have that spirit, that spunk that pushes people out of the nest into starting to creating their own thing, whatever that is, it really is about being a lifepreneur because it impedes most areas of your life. I mean, my son is very versed in my businesses, so it spreads over your life, and that's already in the world of reaching out. But the other thing is, really, Brenda, there's these amazing people all over the world, like you said, that are doing and acting and living the way entrepreneurs are, which are, we're a little crazy bunch, right? Let's face it. And they're doing these incredible things, and it's not monetized. They're living life. Carolyn loves to put it like they're just everyday heroes, doing extraordinary things, and we didn't want to exclude them from our podcast and our media. So yeah, that's what it is.
That's wonderful. Yes, and lifepreneurship, it doesn't start and stop at 9 to 5. It really is a full life, 24-hour. When you take in the personal development piece, you never stop learning, you never stop growing, you never stop thriving and questing for information. So I really think that that's what we are really wanting to do, is really reach beyond the 9 to 5 world, or whatever it is. For me, it was 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., and really soar in new ways. Yeah. So Caroline, I'd love to hear from you. What is lifepreneurship to you, and how has that impacted your life?
Well, it's very similar to Deborah, so I'm not going to duplicate what she said, but I would say that lifepreneurship is also about, how you run your own life. It's not just about your business. And I think a lot of us have it since we're young. And it's something that can be learned, but it's also something that it's in some people and not in others. I think I've had it since I'm little. When I was 7, I was looking for ways to, have a business. So there's always, it's just a different way of thinking. And I really love it's an inquisitive mind. It's, wanting to have more and not willing to settle. Basically, for me, that's what lifepreneurship is, whether it is in your business or in your personal life. It's just not being willing to settle and always going for the next best step. And it resonates with some people and not with some others. But for me, that's really, I'm a girl who loves projects, and I love developing. So it's totally my arena.
Well, it's only limited by your creativity, right?
Absolutely. And, when Deborah and I met, it was obviously it was a bit serendipity, but we are so similar on that when we have an idea, if it doesn't exist, we create it. So that's how everything that we are doing together came about.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's so nice when kindred spirits come together and can really, spin off and help each other and, magnify each other's brilliance in what they're doing and not feel limited at the same time. That is so good. Deborah, I want to just come back to you for a little bit. The road to entrepreneurship and this lifepreneurship isn't always easy. There's many of us will cut our teeth on one network marketing business, and may or may not do well based on the fact that we have so much to learn sometimes, and sometimes so much to get over ourselves. And I wonder if you can share a little insights on that from your own perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm saying the word absolutely a lot because you're just really nailing it, Brenda. I think there might be confusion, I'll say, around when people do, say, a network marketing company for the very first time. And if it doesn't go at the pace that they want, which tends to be the elements, they don't make the reward as fast as they think that they're going to make it. I think what people forget is that I wish it was network marketing business or network marketing company, because I think the expectations around oneself when they go into business for the first time, and I don't think that when people go into network marketing, they see it as a business per se and realize that there's a learning curve. And so that learning curve, like you said, that personal development piece is probably, I would say most direct sales companies are a personal development company with a product. And if you don't allow for that process to happen and that speed to happen, sometimes people get disappointed and they say it didn't work. And I always like to try to dig under that word it, like what is it that didn't work? And truly, honestly, is it that, wasn't the right company for you at that time, wasn't the right products for you at that time, wasn't the right timing for you at that time, wasn't the right team for you at that time, or maybe it wasn't your time. Maybe you didn't put into it, because when you have a business, it's a interdependent relationship, what you take in, what you take out. And I think if people look at it like, okay, I've just bought myself a florist, flower shop, or I've just, and I'm talking about people that are really looking to do it as considerable side gig or something that's maybe more than just coming in to getting free product or what have you, is that you got to have that depth. And I think that's the biggest piece for people to learn. And for myself, you know, I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years, and wow, right? Wow, I don't even know if I could go back and write all the hills up and the hills down. That's where we come to believe in things like the people that you surround yourself with are important, or who are you listening to? I mean, this morning I've listened to Gary Vee, Brene Brown, and some disco music to get me going. You know, like, who are you listening to? What are you reading? It's definitely a journey, and I would say that, you know, I kind of have this saying, like, don't give up 5 minutes before the miracle. Like, you gotta cut yourself some slack, and you got to give yourself the time to learn what it is, and just really don't give up. Entrepreneurship doesn't promise to be easy. It promises to be creative. It promises to expand you. It promises to give you maybe more than what you would get or what you are getting now. If you're drawn to it, it's for a reason. You know, be fair. It's like a relationship. You got to be fair. You know, you got to be fair. You get out what you put in. I don't know.
Yeah.
Those are
great words. Great words.
Yeah.
Great inspiration, because it is so true, because people do think, oh, the promise of, you know, they see the big picture and then forget that they have to take the first step, and are holding on to the grand prize of it all, which is there if you do take the first step. But so many people get tripped up in those first steps, right, Caroline? Like, it has to start with baby steps, and you have to be gentle with yourself. Isn't that true?
Absolutely. And, you know, whatever industry you go to, you will have to put in the time to learn and to build. And that is, like, even if you go into a conventional work, you know, the first month, you're really there to learn. They're not really expecting results from you. So you're there to learn, to practice, and everything. And you have to keep in mind that network marketing most of the time is a side gig business. So people are putting a few hours a week. So if you amount that, you know, it takes more weeks to actually know what you're doing. We like to say that the first year you're in, it's really a learning curve. So you have to be gentle on yourself, be compassionate, and also not get discouraged, and always keep the mentality of being there a year from now. Not, I heard so many people saying, oh, I'll try it for 6 months, or I'll try it until December, and I'll see how it goes. But when you put that in your mind starts stopping there. It's like, okay, December is kind of like the end because you already gave yourself a deadline. So you need to go in with a very open mind and knowing that there's going to be learning and work to do in, just like any other work. I think there's a stigma around network marketing that some people back in the days used to think that they were buying a lottery ticket. So they're like, I'm going to invest that. And, you know, I heard that so-and-so is making so much, so I'll get there too. But I mean, the so-and-so really had their journey and really worked to get there. It's not a lottery ticket. And actually, you know, in the book that we published, that's one of the things that I really love, because we have top earners in there. And when you read their journeys, it's all very simple, and it's all very simple steps. And there's no big leap of, you know, there's no overnight success. People see the overnight success and they want to get there fast, but there's no overnight success. Everyone had their roller coaster, and the one who had grit had success in the end, and the one who didn't, well, you know, they will turn around and say, it didn't work for me. But like I, you know, there's a book that I really like about Malcolm Gladwell, and he talks about to perfect any skill or anything, there's a rule of 10,000 hours. And actually, if we look at our schooling, that's what we put in. So if you're willing to keep that in mind, you won't stop after the 20th hour thinking, oh, it doesn't work. Because, I mean, it's really an industry that can bring you so much.
Yeah, it is. It is an amazing industry if you do tip your toes in and decide to stay for the long haul. But some people get up, and I'm going to go back to Deborah on this one. Deborah, there's the whole misconception about pyramid scheme. And I wonder if you can, shed some light on that, because that seems to be the uneducated people think, oh, that's great, so-and-so is going to make money, but they're going to make it off of my back, and it's a pyramid scheme. And it tarnishes the beauty of the relationship that a team being created through that really establishes. I'd love for you to expand.
Yeah, and I'd love to address it. And I do want to say and be transparent to the listeners that, as I talk about the process of, not getting there fast enough and, oh my gosh, I've gone through the same thing. I just want to say that, you don't come into network marketing with, ideas of, it taking a long, long time. Everybody hopes to be that one person, myself included. So I've had to learn patience and grace. I've had to learn patience and grace with myself, my process. In relationship to it's a pyramid scheme, it's always been very interesting, because I started 2 home party companies when I was in my 20s. And the reason why I started those home party companies was because I was falling in love with aromatherapy, and I had a whole bunch of people calling me. My teacher, who was from India, who taught me, she just kept giving everyone my phone number, and I had this new baby. And everyone's like, can you tell me about aromatherapy? Can you tell me about aromatherapy? And I would just say, can you just come to my house on Thursday nights? Because, we're obviously talking a long time ago. And they would come and I would teach them about aromatherapy because I had a baby and I was too busy. And then the epiphany came of starting this home party company. And the reason why I did was because at 8 years old, my mother sold Tupperware. And all I remember of that time, other than it gave her a little bit of extra, I'm serious, they used to call it apron money back then, if you want to be archaic. It's not that long ago, but there was like, oh, you can make some extra apron money. But my mother didn't have enough money to have a babysitter. And so she would, what some people would consider, drag me along to these home parties that she did. Well, I had an absolute blast. And I remember sitting around with these ladies, and they're talking about this and stuff that I was not supposed to be listening to. And there was food, and there was games. And I wanted to win all the prizes because I was 8. And my mom's like, no, these are for the guests. And I was just excited to go home with an orange peeler, right? And so I remember the community. When I started this home party company, I was about empowering women and, we can do it. And I was in a very, hey, let's all get this together, because it wasn't usual to start businesses 30 years ago as a woman. I can tell you I've had my share of people go, I don't think so, especially aromatherapy. And I did it because of the community memories. I had no idea people thought this was a pyramid. Honestly, I thought everybody loved these companies. Everybody used Tupperware. Well, how did you think it happened? And when people started saying it was a pyramid, I was like, I'm not quite sure what you're talking about, because it didn't seem that way to me. It seemed always collective. And so to me, my mind is very collective. But yes, people have this thing about everybody on the top makes money. And it's kind of perplexing, because simply said, if you've ever been in a 9-to-5 job, and I've been an entrepreneur for a long time, but I used to work for Granada in the credit department. And, I used to, be very involved in, the nightclub scene and the restaurant scene. And I always had a boss. That boss always made more money than me. There was always a manager or an owner to the location. They made more money than me. It never bothered me. I never thought, as I was serving my, my Tai Chi on Tuesday night, $4 for $5, whatever it was, it never occurred to me as I was in my job, loving my job, enjoying what I did, that someone made money off my back. It's interesting to me that people get almost offensive that someone is making money off what they do, yet we do that every single day, and we purchase from companies that do that, and I'm not quite sure why that's a problem. And so when I have that conversation with someone, I'm like, have you ever worked for anybody else? And they're like, yeah. I go, did it ever bother you that your boss made more money than you? And they were like, no. And I'm like, well, and don't you think they should have, because they put in more time, more hours, more dedication? They had to learn different skills. Maybe they went to school longer. They're like, yeah. I go, then why shouldn't the person who's leading you through this path of freedom that you so want, why shouldn't they make a commission? Because their time is valuable. And when you have that conversation with someone in a very simple format like that, and I'm like, I don't understand. And the other thing is that it's a mistruth, because in this relationship marketing, if you understand that that's really what it's called, is that there's people that are above me. There's 4 people above me that don't make any income, or that don't make more income than what I do. I'll put it that way. right? So it is still very much a self-driven, it's kind of like self-directed RRSPs, right? You pick the RRSPs, you make the money. So I think that's what I could say about it. So it wasn't a barrier to my entry. It was a shock when people used to say it. And I think it really comes down to having a conversation about talking about it as a business, not a sector. Like, this is a business. This is an income stream. And I say to people, do you have problems with affiliate marketing? Do you have problems with people that make a cut of, whatever it is that they're selling, or small business owners or local florists? And they're like, no. And I go, then you shouldn't make a fuss about independent consultants making money for their family. That's basically how they're feeding it. I mean, if you look at multi-level marketing as a vast ocean of small business owners taking care of family and community, it would be a different picture. Sorry, I feel like I soapboxed a bit there, but that's what I got this morning.
No, and I appreciate you taking the time to explain that, because it is so true. Every government, there's different levels of government making more money off of another level of government. It's just part of the stream of fulfillment that has to happen. Whether you buy product from somebody or even Amazon, there are affiliate marketers on Amazon that are getting their cut and doing very well, and yet you're buying through Amazon. So, so it's really important for people to look at the legitimacy of what network marketing business is all about, and to really to realize that it's such a streamlined process now, and that there is so much that we can do through that because of the ease of fulfillment, the ease of processing checks and getting paid for this work, for just spending a little bit of time working with one-on-one or small groups or whatever it is you do. And I really love the fact that you were able to explain that, for many, many people, this is just a normal way of doing business. You grew up like that and you lived and breathed that. So I want to turn to Caroline right now, because we have only a few minutes left. It's amazing how this conversation is going so fast and so power-packed. And we have a book that's being birthed. And I'd love for you to talk about it, Caroline.
Well, we actually have two. So I'll talk about, there's one side of it that we're publishing a second book of 20 Powerful Women in Network Marketing Tell All. So again, it's all like people who will share their journeys, their personal experience, and give their tips for success. And I really recommend to anyone to read that, because it doesn't only talk about network marketing. It also talks about life in general, resilience, personal development. It's good for business in general. And then we're publishing the same for men, which is called 10 Influential Men in Network Marketing Tell All. So that's two different perspectives, because I'm sure I'm not announcing anything here that women and men are working differently. So these are the two books, and actually that was one of the side that we're publishing. The other one, we're publishing a planner for 2022 that we're calling the Ultimate Entrepreneur Planner. And the reason is Deborah and I are both paper girls, and I did try, going electronic, and for me it doesn't work. My brain doesn't work this way, and I need to write it on a piece of paper. So I go through 2 or 3 day planners a year, because I never find exactly what I want. And Deb is like me as well, and we try a bunch of different ones. So again, we said, hey, what we really want doesn't exist. Let's create it. So we really consulted top earners, top thought leaders, personal development experts, and we developed this day planner that will basically offer everything for any entrepreneur. And, as a matter of fact, for anyone, but we're really going through that with your yearly planning, monthly planning, down to your weekly planning. So we're helping you break it down to bring it back to an everyday pace, that it's little step at a time will help you succeed. And I mean, there will be strategy planning in there. There's your vision. There's, your lead generation, your follow-ups, everything that you need to run a successful business and or a successful life in general, because it really encompasses everything that you need to think about while we think.
Well, I think that that's a brilliant opportunity because I know myself, I slip from 2 or 3 different planners and then you get planner overload and planner confusion. And again, I'm a paper girl, and I think, really I like to feel my pen on paper, and it makes it more real. So thank you for coming up with this really unique planner system and the books, because it is true. Men are from Mars and women are from Venus, and we think differently, we act differently. And I like the fact that these books are cross-industry books, because so many times you hear in network marketing, no cross-lining allowed, and, you got to stick straight to the straight, narrow path. But the thing is, we all in network marketing, we cross paths in many different ways, whether it is I like the product from this store, this business, and I'm really loyal to my own products. But, the thing is, though, we have to learn from each other, and it's one thing to hear from the Eric Worreys of the world and that sort of thing, but we need to hear it from the grassroots level. So blessings to you both for putting these books together.
Thank you.
So I'd love to. Oh, you're very welcome. I think you girls are brilliant in what you're doing. So, and that's why I wanted to throw my lot in with you on this and share this information. I'd love to hear how the links and how people can connect with you. I don't know which one of you would like to take that one on, but please do.
Well, I think I'm going to take it on because I take care of this stuff, communications. But the most simple way that will really, reach us for everything through that media, through that show, is our email, debandcaroline@gmail.com. That's it.
Very simple. That's the way to do it, is keep it simple, right, girls? And I want to thank you both so very much for your beautiful, brilliant minds and your time and your willingness to do all this beautiful, amazing work, because really at the end of the day, it's all about helping another person to succeed in this world. And that's what this is really all about. And that's my mission, too, to empower people to understand that the rest of their life is the best of their life. And it's never too late and never too early to start. And I'm sure you girls would echo that as well. And thank you for being on Empowered Living. And I just want to say, remember, you are loved and you are loved. You are blessed and you are all a blessing. Until next time, we'll see you again real soon. Bye for now.
You have been listening to Empowered Living with Brenda Pierce. Visit BrendaPierce.com for more inspiration through her media, lighter living recipes, and transformational therapy. Join us next week for more Empowered Living, and have a happy, healthy week.